I'm 35 years old, an age that seems unremarkable on a calendar, but feels like a dividing line in my life, splitting it into two starkly different halves. One half is the past, burning with false flames and reduced to ashes. The other is the present, soaked in sweat, struggling to rebuild from the ruins. My story doesn't involve heart-pounding gunfights or bizarre conspiracies, but it carries the most insidious and deadly cancer of modern society: online gambling. It cost me nearly $1.5 million, the love I once thought unbreakable, the trust of my family, and nearly my dignity as a human being. Now, 3 years sober from gambling, I'm walking a long and rugged road to redemption. I'm choosing to lay it all bare, not for pity, but in hopes that my abyss can serve as a warning sign for others teetering on the edge. I still vividly remember the feeling, like the whole world had abandoned me, the air itself laced with malice and mockery. It was the first winter after my total collapse, living in a dirt-cheap shared apartment on the outskirts of Houston, in a room so small it could only hold a mattress and my despair. The window latch was broken, and cold air poured through the cracks like a knife, cutting into my face and my already tattered heart. I was penniless, my credit cards maxed out, every name in my contacts tied to the word debt. I didn't dare reach out, not out of fear of being hounded for money, but because I couldn't bear to hear even a hint of disappointment in their voices. That disappointment cut deeper than any vicious curse. Hunger was my most real and brutal companion in those days. I distinctly remember one time when I went 2 full days without eating, my stomach churning like an invisible hand was twisting it, the burning pain keeping me from sleep. I scoured every pocket and corner, scraping together less than $2 in coins. With shaky steps, I dragged myself to the corner store, lingering in front of the shelves for what felt like forever. In the end, I bought the cheapest 5-pack of instant noodles. Back in that heatless room, I boiled water in the landlord's faulty electric kettle and cooked the first pack. I didn't even dare drink all the broth, knowing it was my only food for the next few days. When I finished the noodles and drank every last drop of the broth, I did something that shocked and shamed even myself. I carefully tore open an unused seasoning packet, dipped my dry finger into it, and put it in my mouth. The salty mix of cheap MSG, salt, and dehydrated vegetable flakes tasted, in that moment, like the most exquisite delicacy. I closed my eyes, savoring that tiny bit of flavor, like a man dying of thirst in the desert finally tasting a drop of water. In that moment, all my pride, my dignity, my pretense crumbled alongside that cheap seasoning. I was no longer the man with a respectable job, a house, a fiancé. I was just a failure who treated instant noodle seasoning like a treasure. My downfall wasn't sudden. The seeds of gambling were planted long ago, mistaken for a harmless spice in life. It all started with a seemingly innocent office sports betting pool. Back then, I was a project manager at a decent company, with a stable income and a comfortable life. My fiancée, Emily, and I had been together for 5 years, picking out furniture for our new home. Life felt like a steady river flowing toward a happy sea. My coworkers, for fun, would pool money to bet on NBA games, small stakes, a few dozen bucks just for laughs. I joined in, and the thrill of winning $100 on a buzzer beater was exhilarating. It wasn't like the paycheck I earned after a month of hard work. It came so easily, full of drama and uncertainty, a novel thrill in my predictable life. Soon, I wasn't satisfied with small bets. I started exploring professional betting sites online. At first, I was cautious, sticking to sports I knew, doing thorough research on team stats and player performance. I even set strict rules, no more than 2 bets a day, $200 max. For the first few months, I won more than I lost, my account slowly growing. I began to believe I'd cracked the code, that I was smarter than the average reckless gambler. I credited my success to my analytical skills, not luck. That illusion of control was the first step toward the abyss. I bragged to Emily about my wins, and though she was a bit worried, my confidence reassured her. She just cautioned me not to go overboard. The real turning point came with the fast games in online casinos. Sports betting required long waits, but online poker, blackjack, and slots delivered results in seconds. The first time I clicked into that neon-lit virtual casino, it was like Alice falling down the rabbit hole. The world inside was dazzling, seductive. The crisp sound of chips, the charming dealers, the rolling jackpot numbers, they hit every nerve. I tried a few hands of online poker, and with some basic skills, won $5,000 in an hour. That was half a month's salary. In that moment, a switch flipped in my brain. The grind of work, the tediousness of projects, seemed laughable and inefficient. I thought I'd found a shortcut to wealth, a golden road paved with mouse clicks. From that day, I changed. I was distracted at work, my mind consumed by bets and odds. I'd sneak into the bathroom to place quick bets on my phone. At home, while Emily excitedly discussed wedding details, I'd wear earphones, pretending to listen to music while silently battling gamblers worldwide. My life split into 2 worlds. The real one, where I built a home with Emily, and the virtual one, fueled by greed and desire. I started lying to Emily, first about how much I won, then, when I started losing, about where the money went. I claimed I'd invested in a friend's project, lent money to a desperate colleague, or that my company bonus was delayed. Each lie needed more lies to cover it. I was a tightrope walker, teetering on the edge of a chasm. Chasing losses is the curse every gambler can't escape. When you lose money, your first instinct isn't to stop but to bet more, desperate to win it back. Your bets grow bigger, your mindset more frantic, your judgment cloudier. I remember losing $30,000 in a single weekend, almost 3 months' salary. Panic like I'd never felt before hit me. I didn't tell anyone. Instead, I secretly applied for a high-limit credit card, cashed it out, and threw it back into the casino. I told myself if I could just win back that $30,000, I'd quit for good. Predictably, I didn't win it back. I lost the card's entire $50,000 limit. Debt snowballed. One credit card wasn't enough, so I got 2, then 3. When that ran dry, I turned to predatory online loans with sky-high interest rates. Their ads were everywhere, popping up between gambling sites, tailored to desperate souls like me. I grabbed at them like a lifeline, frantically borrowing from every platform. My personal info was exposed, my phone bombarded with collection calls. I dreaded every ring, every vibration. I silenced my phone, but the numbers burned into my mind. I lived in constant fear and anxiety, project manager by day, debtor by night. My relationship with Emily hit rock bottom. She noticed my changes, my distraction, my mood swings, the unfamiliar credit card bills. We fought constantly. She begged to know what was wrong, but I couldn't tell her the truth. How could I admit I'd gambled away the down payment for our wedding house? How could I confess that the man she loved was a liar drowning in debt? I chose the coward's way, avoidance and cold silence. The final straw was our small apartment, a symbol of our love and future. When all my borrowing options dried up, I turned to it in desperation. I forged Emily's signature and, through shady channels, mortgaged it for a huge loan. With that money, I went all in at the casino, thinking it was my last shot at a comeback. I pinned all my hopes on that game. I still remember the screen as the final card turned, like a guillotine slicing through my delusions. I lost everything. When I got home, broken, Emily was waiting in the living room, a mortgage notice from the bank in front of her. She didn't cry or scream. She just looked at me with a mix of sadness, disappointment, and unfamiliarity I'd never seen before. In that moment, I knew it was over. The bond of trust we'd built was ash. We didn't say another word. The next day, she moved out, taking everything that was hers, and all the light in my life. When the truth came out, my parents, kind, simple people, aged overnight. They couldn't believe their pride and joy had done something so reckless. They sold their retirement home, scraping together $250,000 to pay off my first wave of debt. At a family meeting, I knelt before them, sobbing, swearing I'd change and never gamble again. My remorse was genuine, but the grip of addiction was stronger than I imagined. After a few calm months, the emptiness and unwillingness crept back. I felt cheated by luck, convinced one more shot could win it all back. So I slunk back to that virtual hell, losing faster and deeper, racking up another $250,000 in debt. When I confessed to my parents again, my father's rage triggered a heart attack. Seeing him in the hospital, frail under an oxygen mask, was the lightning bolt that finally woke me up. I wasn't just hurting myself, I was destroying the 2 people who loved me most. That bone-deep regret and self-loathing forced me to quit, no matter how painful. That's the first half of my story, a typical, unoriginal tale of a gambler's fall. The real challenge is the second half, redemption. The early days of quitting were brutal. My brain, wired for gambling's high, found normal life dull. It felt like ants crawling inside me, that restless craving. I deleted gambling apps and blocked collection calls, but that was just physical separation. The psychological addiction haunted me like a ghost. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw losses and threats. My relationships were in ruins. Friends and family shunned me. I was an island. At my breaking point, my childhood friend Mark offered a lifeline. We'd been brothers in my good days, and even when everyone else cut me off, he didn't block my number, though I owed him $15,000. He called, needing money, and we sat in silence for a long moment. For a second, I felt resentment. Are we best friends? Why can't you wait? But shame quickly drowned that out. I'd betrayed his trust, put him in a tough spot. What right did I have to judge? I promised him over the phone, Mark, give me a little time. I swear I'll pay every cent. I'll prove it with my actions. After hanging up, I decided I couldn't live like a zombie anymore. I had to work, any job, as long as it paid. I ditched my fantasies and scoured for basic labor jobs online. I found an ad for a construction site needing temp workers to install commercial billboards, $400 a day. I jumped at it. On my first day, the foreman handed me a hard hat and gloves, telling me to learn welding from the old-timers. I stood on a scaffold under Texas' blazing sun, sparks flying, sweat streaming down my face, stinging my eyes, and tasting salty in my mouth. By day's end, my arms were too sore to lift, my body soaked. But collapsing onto my mattress in that cold room, I felt a strange calm. The exhaustion quieted my restless mind. The $400 in my hand, earned through sweat, felt clean and real. From that day, I embraced a gig life. Days I worked construction, welding, hauling, grunt work, the dirtier the better. Nights and weekends, I signed up for DoorDash, delivering food in my beat-up Toyota through Houston streets. I saw the city at 4 a.m., the glow of late-night ERs. I delivered pizzas to warm, happy families, my heart a mix of emotions. I'd had that life once and shattered it. In upscale neighborhoods, passing beautiful homes and gardens, I felt a sting. That was my dream, but now I was just the guy saying, "Enjoy your meal," before walking away. The hardest job was with a moving company. One client lived on the 12th floor of an old building with no elevator. We had to carry a solid wood dining table, heavy and slippery, up the stairs. It took half an hour, pausing every few steps, my arms and back burning. By the time we got it inside, I was spent, my legs trembling. I earned $800 that day, but the exhaustion lingered for days. Yet, this grueling labor was a brutal kind of therapy, grinding away my greed and impatience. Feeling how hard it was to earn every dollar made me see how absurd and sinful it was to lose thousands in seconds on a screen. Those cold numbers represented my parents' retirement, Emily's dowry, my friends' hard-earned money, and the countless days I'd need to repay with sweat. Repaying debts became my anchor. I made a detailed plan, starting with friends and family, from closest to furthest, smallest to largest. Every time I saved enough, I paid someone back. I'll never forget returning the first $1,000 to Mark. He was silent on the phone, then said, "Got it. Take care of yourself." I knew money could be repaid, but trust took time. I didn't argue, just kept working. 2 years later, I cleared his $15,000. I offered $600 extra as interest. He refused. "You getting back on your feet means more," he said. Alone in my car after that call, I cried for the first time since quitting, not from pain, but from gratitude and a sliver of relief. I know things with Mark will never be as close as before. The crack will always be there. But that's okay. I did what I could to make amends. I owe him no more guilt, and I can face him now. I swore to myself that if he ever needs me, I'll be there, no matter what. From 2022 to spring 2025, in less than 3 years, I repaid all $45,000 owed to friends and family, bit by bit, like moving a mountain. Each payment lightened my heart. Now, I'm left with about $65,000 in commercial loans and credit card debt. It's still a huge sum, but my mindset has shifted. These are business debts, no longer hurting the people I love. The worst-case scenario is bankruptcy, not betrayal. I'm less burdened. My plan is to stop juggling debts, save what I can, and let my parents hold the money. When the lenders sue, I'll negotiate a lump sum settlement with my savings. It's a tough road, but I'm ready. I'm not scared anymore. My father, seeing me work like a dog, always worries, urging me to save for a good girl and a family. I just smile and stay quiet. I know I'm a broke, debt-ridden sinner. What right do I have to love? How could I drag an innocent woman into this endless redemption? My mission now is to clear my debts and spend my life caring for my parents, ensuring their peace in old age. If I can do that, I'll have no regrets. In my daily grind, I'm seeking a new path. Manual labor won't last forever. My body won't hold up as I age. I need a trade, something sustainable. My neighbor, a 60-something locksmith, sparked my interest. He's unassuming, but he can open any car or door lock in under 30 seconds. His skill fascinated me. Locksmithing, an ancient craft, felt full of wisdom and precision. Not luck, but real skill. I mustered the courage to ask him to teach me. I spent evenings and weekends learning lock structures, tool use, opening techniques. My teacher saw my dedication and taught me everything. He said, "This job needs steady hands, a calm heart, and above all, integrity." Those words stuck with me. Learning to pick locks felt like unlocking my own heart. Each practice demanded patience and focus, qualities I'd lacked. The first time I opened a complex pin tumbler lock, the pride was greater than any $10,000 casino win. It was mine, earned through effort, untouchable. Now, I'm preparing for a background check to get my locksmith license. My plan is to print business cards, start in the community, and make locksmithing my main gig. My teacher charges $120 per job, honest, straightforward, skill-based work. It suits me.